So hi, this is Nick Williams. I'm sitting here with Sarah Rosentula. I'll get your name right. Great. I've asked you to come and talk to our audience about how to have a life-changing conversation.
Yes.
And this is your passion, and you've written a book called Life-Changing Conversations. So I'm really looking forward to this evening because we've kind of discussed off camera that perhaps 80% of modern work and being an entrepreneur and doing things you love is about having conversations with people, and yet how many of us have ever had a kind of class on how to have a great conversation? So tell me, where did your passion for conversation come from in your own life?
So I'd say two main places. One is that if I look back on my own life, I've really struggled at certain moments in terms of having big conversations. And I've avoided having them, sometimes not for days or weeks or months,
yeah,
but
I'm sure everybody
years.
watching this can relate to that.
And then the second place would be that I've been a psychologist, a business psychologist, working for about 15 years. And I see the difference that it makes when both individuals and teams can have the top conversation and talk about what matters most.
Great. So your life's been transformed by conversation, and you love helping other people transform their lives and their work and relationships through conversation.
Yes.
Great. So what are you going to be able to do with people in an evening? So are we going to have conversations about conversations?
Yes. Well, I'm not going to do a monologue about dialogue. It's going to be interactive and experiential. So I hope that people come away feeling not only inspired to maybe go and have that conversation, but also feel a bit better equipped in a practical sense as well.
So are there some fundamental kind of tools and techniques that you have that you're going to share with people about how to up the chances of having a good conversation?
Yes, I am going to share a couple of tools, and also I want to acknowledge, and I think it's a great phrase you use there, up the chance of having a better, more inspiring conversation, because I think one of the challenges around conversation is that if it's a true conversation, it's something that's co-created. Which means that no one individual is really in control of it, and that it is unpredictable to some extent. So all we can do by using the tools, doing some preparation, is maximise the likelihood. But in conversation, as in life, there are no guarantees.
No. So you can still be good at your side of it, but it's still not going to have the outcome you want. But presumably you can keep learning. It's something. It's not about getting it right or wrong. It's about learning, presumably. Is that part of what you do, is you kind of coach people to get better and better at having those kind of conversations?
I do, and in fact, the book is born out of years and years of reflecting on my own learning, on clients' learning, about how we can get better at this art of conversation, because it is an art form that improves with practice.
I love that idea of being an art, because often we think of things as being a science. It's like, if I learn these things, it's all going to work out. But for me, it sounds like it's a combination of both. It's like putting some structures in place that are going to up the chances of being able to have a great conversation that's going to go somewhere and be meaningful, but also just learning and trusting yourself, presumably. It's quite intuitive at times, isn't it? Yeah,
I think that's very well put. It's very much that combination of, doing your preparation, having a game plan, if you like, thinking it through in advance, and then in the moment just allow, to some extent actually letting that go, and then just being with the other person, doing the dance that is a co-creation in the moment.
Brilliant. And I'm really looking forward to this, because I just think conversation is so crucial. And as I met you and we initially started talking, I thought, well, nobody ever taught me how to have a great conversation. And I know you're, what I would call an inspired entrepreneur. You're running your own business, doing work that you love. So presumably you've built your business conversation by conversation, really.
Yes.
So you're living proof of it. How has being a great conversationalist, if you like, helped you build your business?
Well, I agree with you that I think life could be seen as one conversation followed by another one, and I love what our friend Robert Holden has to say about conversation as well, which is we evolve by conversation. So, whether it's been negotiating with clients or making suggestions, or before I became a freelance consultant, I had to resign from my position in the consultancy I was working for, and sort of For me, the challenge is how to talk when there are sometimes tough things to say, but without rupturing a relationship. And I wouldn't say that I've perfected that art, but I think there are ways that we can do that.
Brilliant. Well, I'm really looking forward to it, as I say, and I think you've hit on what I can certainly relate to, and I'm guessing, you know, a lot of people listening to and watching this would think that they avoid the conversations because they're afraid the relationship would fall apart if they had the conversation. And
yes.
I guess that, to me, almost feels like a universal fear that many of us have around having deeper, more meaningful, engaging conversations, is that they're either going to go towards more intimacy and understanding, or they're going to blow things apart. Is that
Yes,
true?
I think that's very true in terms of the way I certainly hold it in my mind sometimes, and other people do. But, you know, paradoxically, sometimes if we just take a really good look at our fears and actually name what those fears are, it doesn't make the fears disappear, but it does sometimes make them smaller, which means there's then more space for our courage to come up.
Beautiful.
And then we can, you know, face into it, have the conversation. And, you know, what I've found in my experience is actually when I found ways of speaking my truth, coming from the heart, being sensitive to where the other person is, generally the other person has never left the room. You know, so those fears have actually been unfounded.
Yeah, their fears rather than realities.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I say I'm really looking forward to this. So, you know, if you're interested in better relationships, you know, with clients, with collaborators, and I guess to some extent with yourself as well. You know, we're always having conversations with ourselves, so I presume we can learn how to have better conversations with ourselves. Is that right?
Absolutely. That would be a key component of the work we can do in this area.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So if this appeals to you, please do come along to the talk. You'll get a copy of Sarah's book, which we haven't got to show you at the moment because it's not out yet when we're having this conversation. But I'm really excited by this conversation and where it's going to lead to. So thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed watching it.
Thank you very much, Nick. That's great.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye-bye.